So this is an introduction to the magic sheet and how you would set levels to attain a look on stage, and then perhaps we'll get to recording them. So what you're looking at here is the stage at Laconia High School, and we have these color source spots hung out in the house, and we have color source pars hung out in the house. This is all front light. We have some top light color source pars on stage. These do a nice job of lighting the cyclorama. They are also set up in groups. So this is group 1, and it's these 4 color source spots here. This is group 2, it's these front color source pars. There's group 3, which are these tops, and group 4, those tops, and group 9 up here would be everything. We also have color palettes across the top, and we have intensity palettes down here on the side. So in order to turn on, say, this set of color source pars, we could easily just click the group button here with my mouse. I just clicked, and you'll notice my color picker comes up on the screen over here. So we could use the color picker, but the easiest thing is if you're just using a basic color, you could select the red palette here. Of course, we can't see anything because we don't have an intensity set. So I'll select intensity palette full, and you may see in the background there, the stage has turned red. We could change that color palette to blue, or we could go with something more reasonable for front light, which might be no color pink here. No color pink looks pretty good. No color blue would be on the cool side. No color straw or special lavender. So let's leave that at no color pink for the moment. We can also then go and select an individual instrument and change that to a different color. So that one is now blue. And you'll see that on the display, the fill color actually changes to that shade. I'm going to go back to making them all no color pink. And I want to show you, this is at color and intensity palette 10, which is full. If I go to intensity palette 40, you'll see that they dim out even on screen here, along with on stage. So we could set that as our front wash. We could add group 4 at blue, dark blue, if we wanted, at full. And that's going to give us some cyc light back there. Or maybe we want to change it to cyan. And then we could decide, okay, this is how we want our cue to be recorded. In which case, all we have to do is punch the record button, which is down on the keyboard in the left-hand section at the top. And I would hit record, and you'll see down here on the command line, the record has come on. Now I can key in a cue number, or I can simply hit the next button, which will automatically give me the next cue. And the next button would be on the keyboard in the upper right section. And it automatically fills in cue 1, and then I simply hit the enter key, and now my cue is recorded, and you can see it appears up here in my cue list. And later we can go to that cue. And then to record another cue, I would simply change what's here on the screen. You have to be careful though, because this is a tracking board, so if you want to make sure everything is set back to normal, you might select everything and take its level down to 0. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to select all. I'm going to go with color palette 0. So now everything is 0%, which is color palette number 11. Everything is off. The other thing we could have done is we can try hitting the clear button a couple of times, and we can also do go to cue, which is 1 button, and out, which is over here, and hit enter, and that takes everything out, which is probably a good way to go. And then we can set up another look. We can grab these guys here and set them to magenta, and then we could maybe just give that an intensity of 70%, and maybe just this par here at full at color palette no color straw. Another way that we can change the colors, and then we could record this cue. Another way to change the colors would be, I'm going to start that over. Go to cue, out, enter, and everything fades out on screen. Yep, and now the colors are gone. So suppose we're going to select these top lights here. I can go over to my color picker here, and we've got a fader here for each of the primary colors. So if we want it to be red, I'm going to first set an intensity palette up at full so that we can actually see something on stage. Without picking a color, it's a very harsh white. So I can scroll up here. The farther up I go, the faster it moves, or I can scroll down here and take the reds out. I can then take the blues out like this, or I can bring them back up some until I like what I'm looking at. The other thing, you'll notice that the crosshair moves over here. I can just click someplace and say, oh, I want it that color, or I want it this color. And you've also got max and min buttons here, so max will pop it back up to 100%, and min will take it down to 0. Another way to select color, if you're familiar with gels, you can click the gel button here and scroll down here to the manufacturer of gel you like. It could be Lee, it could be Roscoe. We come down here as Gam and Apollo. I think one of the most popular ones I know what we use is Roscoe Lux, and that's number 5 here. I click that, and oh look, here are all the gels. And so I can say, you know, I was kind of looking for my good old friend Roscoe 58, and if I hover over it, it tells me the name is Deep Lavender. By the way, this is a touch screen, so I could actually select it by touching it, and I just changed the stage to Roscoe 58, and you'll see it changed here on the magic sheet also. So I think this is a quicker and easier way than just keying in a lot of commands at the keyboard. However, you can still do that. You can key in a channel number, and that all works very similar to other ETC boards. It just gets a little more confusing when you're trying to deal with LED instruments that have color associated with them. And I think for walking into this board cold, this is going to work pretty well for everybody. Now we can also take a look and record it into a submaster simply by hitting the record button and hitting the bump button on the submaster. What happens when that fades in going through the various color mixing can be a little strange, but once you get up to full, it'll be just what you're looking for. Well, I hope that helps.